Good. Right. Thank you, Maria, for that. Perhaps I will say something about the roads, because I think it's been on your heart, it's been on my heart too. About 30 years ago, in another place, we used to have a prayer meeting before the service, and I turned up that day, and I was the only one who turned up. And I felt rather miffed about that, as I'm a bit of a sinful person myself. But anyway, I got on and prayed, nothing very special, but prayed. And as I opened my eyes afterwards, just for a split second, I was dressed from head to foot in white robes. And only for a split second, then I reverted to my normal shirt and trousers. But just for a split second, I think God opened the curtain and enabled us to see the white robes that we all wear when we worship the Lord. So often since then, when we're singing, especially that song about the robes, I imagine that, and please do that too, because you're dressed in those white robes too. Okay, right, I better get on with the topic, haven't I? The legacy question, what story do I want to tell? I think leaders need to do this as one topic, but as I looked at it, it turned out to be two topics, so I'm sorry about that. So I'm going to look at the legacy question first, and then what story do I want to tell? A while ago, I was listening to the radio, and a person was being interviewed. I think it might be Chris Patton, I can't remember. And he was asked what he thought his legacy would be, and what he'd be remembered for. And his reply was less than helpful to the interviewer, because he said, it's not for me to decide what my legacy should be, it's other people who decide what they remember me for. And for some reason, perhaps for times such as this, that conversation has stuck in my mind. And I think I agree with the interviewee. Whatever I think that my legacy should be, other people will decide what it is. And so if people feel that I've blessed them, they'll remember me for that. And if people feel that I've hurt them, they'll remember me for that. If people feel I've helped them, they'll remember me for that. And if people feel that I've let them down, then they'll remember me for that. Right, so if I can remember how to do this now. Yes. And I suspect for all the words I've spoken in house groups and in sermons, the only thing that you'll remember me for will be the phrase, my beautiful young assistant, which I uttered when I asked Janet to come and read a scripture for me some years ago. I have to say that other speakers have shamelessly plagiarised. And so, will that be my legacy in CCC? Will it live on after I've gone? I have one memory of my mother's mother, my grandmother, who died when I was quite young. I was in her kitchen, and it was a dark room. We didn't put the lights on, you didn't have to in those days, it cost a lot of money. And the only light really was the fire, the open fire burning. And I was racing about, as children do. I know that's hard to imagine now, but my grandmother said something to me then, and I've remembered that for 70 years. It's the only memory that I have of her. And these were the words she said. My bunions. Why is that the only memory I've got of my grandmother? Is it my strange mind? You probably will think that after this. Does that sum up her life, my Bunyan's? Of course it doesn't. Of course it doesn't. I know from what others have said that she was a very caring person, and in fact she contracted her last illness when going out to care for others. So most of us will be quickly forgotten, and that's right and proper. One of the verses of "O God our help in ages past" goes, "Time like an ever-rolling stream bears all its sons away. They fly forgotten as a dream dies at the break of day." And that's good and right and proper. That should happen. In the words of John the Baptist, "He, Jesus, must increase, and we must decrease." We are loved and precious to God, but most of us will be forgotten by the world very quickly. So I can't impose a legacy on anyone. You'll decide for yourselves what legacy, what memories I leave you, good, bad, or indifferent. And for most of us, memories of what we did and who we were will die when our grandchildren's generation dies, if they last that long. At the end of the day, it's what God thinks of me that matters, not what the world thinks, not even what the church thinks. So let's deal with that. Let's turn instead to the second part of my brief. What story would I like to tell? And the story I'd like to tell is that our life should be a journey of exploration, not of the world, but rather of getting to know God better. The Puritans, around in the 1600s, were known for being rather rigid and harsh. And I think that's rather unfair and not a full reflection of their faith and lives. The Westminster Shorter Catechism states that the chief end of man's chief end is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. Enjoy Him? Enjoy Him forever. And they cite scriptures to back this up, and you can look at Revelation 4, 1 to 11, or Psalm 16, 5 to 11. As examples of this. Julian of Norwich, who Amanda's quoted quite recently, expressed her desire, this is Julian of Norwich, not Amanda's, expressed her desire to be one with her Saviour. It's not a phrase we use nowadays, but it means to be made one with or to be united with. And it's like Jesus said about marriage, that the two should become one flesh. But it's even deeper than that. And you can look at Luke 14:26. It's just on my reading this morning about that. That it's a deeper relationship. And of course, oneness requires constant communication with God. And again, quoting Amanda, she put something on WhatsApp this week, I don't know if you remember it, on Monday, about telling Jesus. And this is it, tell him how you feel, tell him what you need, tell him what you're happy about, tell him what you're angry about. Tell him why you're feeling disappointed. Tell him what you're longing for. Tell him what you need to let go of. Tell him what you're grateful for. Tell him what you want him to do for you. And tell him how you are or aren't experiencing him. On the thought for the day on the radio yesterday, The speaker, a lady, was talking about an aged relative of her that she used to visit, and whenever she left, the lady would say, "Don't forget to smell the roses on the way out." And these roses were very fragrant and very lovely, but it just made her stop and consider and wonder. And this relative used to say it even in the depth of winter, when of course there were no roses, "Don't forget to smell the roses on the way out." In other words, don't forget to spend time just relaxing, marvelling at God's creation and praising Him for it. Don't forget to smell the roses. Might be something you remember before. We have some lovely roses in our garden that do smell. They also need pruning and lots of other things, but it's good to just stop and smell. I find help in getting to know God through reading. The Bible speaks to me, not every day, but it speaks to me, and it's a good habit to do every day. Persevere. And I find books of other Christian writers help me too. My deepest experience of God was when I was reading Communion with God, which was written by John Owen in the 1600s. I have to say I was reading an abridged and modernised translation, but it's a tremendous book, and I think that inspired how God met me on that day. So all of our life should be spent learning to know God better, glorifying Him, seeking to please Him, and enjoying Him. I have to say, especially as we get older, we will need that closeness to God more and more as we face the tests and trials that life brings to us. A few years ago, our children thought we were getting old and doddery and impressed on us the need to prepare our funeral. Thank you. And I chose a particular hymn. It's one that probably by the time I go, nobody will remember or know how to play it. But and I confess to being a bit hypocritical to have chosen it. However, it does express my desire rather than my imperfect performance of discipleship. I hope it speaks to you as it does to me. It goes like this. "O Jesus, I have promised to serve thee to the end. Be thou forever near me, my master and my friend. I shall not fear the battle if thou art by my side, nor wander from the pathway if thou wilt be my guide. O let me feel thee near me, the world is ever near. I see the sights that dazzle, the tempting sounds I hear. My foes are ever near me, around me and within. But Jesus, draw thou nearer, and shield my soul from sin. O let me hear thee speaking in accents clear and still, above the storms of passion, the murmurs of self-will. O speak to reassure me, to hasten or control. O speak and make me listen, thou guardian of my soul. O Jesus, thou hast promised to all who follow thee, that where thou art in glory, there shall my servant be. And Jesus, I have promised to serve thee to the end. And give me grace to follow my master and my friend. And let me see thy footmarks, and in them plant mine own. My hope to follow duly is in thy strength alone. O guide me, call me, draw me, uphold me to the end, and then in heaven receive my Saviour and my friend. So, to summarise, don't worry about the legacy. Other people will decide that for themselves. Seek to please God only, and everything else will fall into place. It's quite easy, really. We make it a lot more difficult than it seems to be. Life is a journey of exploration with God. Seek to enjoy Him forever. Seek to be one with Him.